Welcome to Coffee Meets Cloud, where three women in tech come together to share real stories about leadership, life, and everything in between. Join our hosts, Caramie McCollum.
In other news, these headphones, I'm going to have to do something else. I am on fire.
Cassandra Parker.
It's pretty basic. We have to stay fully caffeinated in order to do all the things that we do.
And Rachel Rogers.
I don't know if we can survive this. I feel like this one goes in the vault.
Your go-to source for candid conversations and unfiltered insights. So, grab your coffee, pull up a chair, and join the chaos.
Well, on that note, welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Cloud. Happy Tuesday. And the countdown to Thanksgiving is on.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
So close, but yet so far.
Yes, when we're talking about kids going back to school, so far. But yeah, I mean, we hope your drinks are strong and you're really hanging in there.
You're getting ready for those family gatherings that try all of your patience, even though you love them.
I feel a little jaded. I got a phone call from my my grandmother last night, and she was like, "Hey, what are you? I'm planning the Thanksgiving meal. What are y'all planning to bring this year?" And I was like, "What do you mean? The deviled eggs I always bring." And she was like, "Well," and to make a long story short, she was like, "I was talking to your uncles and about what they wanted to bring, and I was going through the list of things that I'm not cooking, and when the deviled eggs came up, one of them volunteered for it."
So now what do you have to make?
I have been demoted to ice.
Hey, demoted?
Hey,
that's like show up with a bag of
W.
Right,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but you just want to be like, you got beef with my deviled eggs, or like, was this a ploy, or is this just how this went down?
Here's the thing, right? Take the W, just have the ice, right?
Yeah.
Then if you really want to cook you some deviled eggs, they're all yours, babe. You ain't got to share them.
That's true.
Look at it that way. Like, I mean,
that's true.
Take the W.
I think I'm probably one of the only people, I don't know if y'all do, but I'm probably one of the only people who follow Southern Living on TikTok because, I'm a good Southern girl.
Living, like the magazine?
Yeah, they have a really good TikTok, and they'll post like recipes and stuff. And they were talking about how to beef up your deviled eggs, which I don't eat deviled eggs. So spoiler alert, whatever. They were talking about using this mayonnaise mustard combo like sauce that you can buy at the grocery store. And I can't remember what the name of it was. I'll have to go look it up now. But that was like the key. So instead of putting mayonnaise and mustard, you use this one thing and it's got other seasonings in it. And it was raving about like, these are the best deviled eggs I've ever had in my life. So
I was so confused. I was like, why can't you just mix it?
I know. It seems like a cheat code.
Yeah. But it's like a sauce.
Okay.
That you can buy at the store.
Have y'all seen the Bloody Mary deviled eggs? I haven't made them, but every time I see them, I'm like, oh, I want to try that.
Okay, I found it. It's called Durkee sauce.
What?
Yep, Durkee. That's what it's called.
It sounded nice.
I know. I know.
Yeah, they need some marketing help.
According to Southern Living, this is what will take your deviled eggs to the next level. I'm just saying.
Look, Southern Living has led me wrong quite a few times, so I'm not sure they are the
Really? I've never been.
No, they make me
Southern Living.
Not so much about the food, but I think Southern Living is the one where I always see the Christmas decorations and things around the holidays, and I drool over that.
That is good, but the cooking they can lead you astray on, because it's like we talked about the last time. It's that regionality of it, right? So it's like the South is not all the same. We don't all talk the same. We don't all have the same recipes, right?
Yeah.
So I think it depends on where they get theirs from. What part of the
if you're from the Northwest Georgia region, like Cassandra is, then guess what? You're gonna like this recipe because I like all the Southern Living recipes. It's usually for me.
Oh, where is Southern Living out of? Are they out of Georgia? Maybe this explains so much.
Great question. I don't know.
Let's ask the Google.
Right.
Speaking of marketing, have y'all seen the madness about the Starbucks honey bear cups?
I saw this lady the other day take the animal cracker, the big bear animal cracker jar that you can get.
Yeah.
Dumped all the animal crackers out of it, turned the lid into the little top that the Starbucks bear has, and made it in a big giant drink. Have you not
So
seen these,
Cassandra hasn't seen
How
this.
have I?
Oh.
No.
So Starbucks created these cups that
Oh,
look
they're
like
cute.
and are did you look it up?
Of course, I googled it. It's
Okay, so
cute.
for anybody who's listening who hasn't seen this, the cups look like the little
Honey bear.
bear. Yeah, the honey bear for the honey that you buy from the store. Well, their marketing team was dripping videos and clips and stuff of these cups long before they dropped in the stores. And then when they dropped them in the stores, there was like 3 per store. And people were lined up really early in the morning, like 2 and 3 a.m. to be in line before they opened.
Say that it was limited release. So like they prefaced it, but they didn't say like limited meant 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So people were big mad. And then at some of the stores, the employees got them. Like before they opened the doors, the employees got in line and bought them. And people, you got to look up the social clips.
Okay.
People were beside themselves, which, on the one hand, you can argue like that's a really silly thing to be upset about. It's a cup, which I agree. But then on the flip side, it's like, yeah, but maybe it's more about the time. Like they got out of bed and they came and got in line and then.
That's what I was going to say. If you took your time to get out of bed at 2 a.m. and go stand in line for a honey bear looking cup at Starbucks, I question your life's choices.
But here's the thing. Like,
what are you doing?
But here's the thing, and I will advocate for these people, for our underrepresented audience, obviously. But it's collector's item. Like that is also
true.
why people do it, right? Like you say it's limited edition, like so the value of something, right, is going to be higher. So if you're a collector, I could totally see getting out of bed to go and get that, right? Just like when they did some of the Wicked releases that they did, which were limited, right? So this is a thing that they're known for. They're just normally known for actually having a quantity of them, not just 3.
Well, I saw
giving Beanie Baby, like that's
right.
Yeah,
and I saw some marketing experts talking about how they believe. So Starbucks is kind of like giving this impression that they just had no idea they were going to be this popular, blah blah blah. But I've heard some experts saying no, they believe Starbucks planned it just like this all along because they can create this craze. It's free marketing. Yeah. And then to underdeliver like that and get people so upset, it's free marketing that everybody was constantly talking about it in TikTok videos and Facebook reels or whatever. And then when they make more and send them out, then they get to save the day. Right. They get to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. We had no idea this was going to be so popular. And then they release more and they're the hero. And I was like, oh, if it really was all a master plan, that is brilliant.
That is brilliant.
That's when you're playing chess, not checkers.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Correct. Well, how have y'all been doing?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, well, we had a guest on last week, so we didn't really catch up. I want to talk about that.
We had an amazing guest on last week.
Did.
Our first listener turned guest episode, and it went really well.
Yes, I like her a lot. She's pretty
it
brilliant.
It was nice to just find somebody you click with, like I think it's easy for the 3 of us to talk. We've known each other for a bit now, right? But you don't always click with people. And even somebody who's interested in what you have to say, right? Sometimes it can be a little awkward, but it felt like we'd known her for years. Like it was just, we were all in the same vibe. I can't wait to have her on again, talk more about the motherhood side of things, because I think we covered leadership pretty well. So if you need some leadership tips, definitely tune into this past week's episode. But I think the motherhood side next is going to be super excited next year when we get to do it all again.
That is Brittany Charles episode, if anyone's lost in the sauce here.
Yeah. What day was up? I don't know. Numbers are hard.
It was stirring the pot with Brittany Charles.
That's right. It was the 11th of November.
It was good. And I guess that comes with when it is a listener turned guest, because if she's agreeing with what she's hearing in other episodes, then you can assume that she's going to come on and we're all just going to be like, oh, absolutely. Yes, you're talking my language. Like you could finish my sentences. So yes, it was very fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting too. Like if you're listening and you don't like what we have to say, you can change the channel, but also you could reach out because, we are open to diverse perspectives. That's what we were talking about part of the time with Brittany. Like, I feel like we've got the opportunity here. We want to learn more. We do want to hear what you have to say and why you believe what you believe, because that'll help us all, right? It helps us understand each other. It helps us create better connections, right? We just happen to be like-minded. And, even though we don't agree on meatloaf, we do agree on a lot of other things. So we're very excited about that part. And now we know we don't agree on deviled eggs. So now we are upping our food disagreement list pretty quickly here.
Well, I just want to see how many episodes in a row we can tag meatloaf into at this point.
I know. I was thinking earlier when we got on the food topic again, I was like, what is wrong with us? Like, we talk about food in every single episode.
But see, what people need to know about us is we all like to eat, but a portion of us also like to cook. And that's just one of those things.
Yeah. Do what makes your heart happy.
Yeah.
Life is too short.
It is. I've had a long week, as I know all of us have had long weeks this week. We're recording this on a Friday morning, bright and early. My son was sick this week, which is always stress-inducing. So hats off to all the moms out there sleeping in the same bed as your kid while you're checking their fever all night long. It is not a fun time. Thankfully, we've turned a corner. But, missing a few days of school makes it really hard to go back for just 2 days of school before you're out for a whole week. So we have all the fun getting ready problems in the morning. And it's, oh, geez. Anyone else that has a 5-year-old or a younger kid can understand. It's a nightmare. Well, I don't know. Teenagers are hard to get out of bed too. So there's that.
When you disrupt the routine.
Yes.
That's bad. I didn't get Rowan was sick a couple weeks ago with what in retrospect I believe was the flu. I didn't get him swabbed. The only thing he was swabbed for was strep throat because it seemed a lot like that at the beginning, and I wanted to make sure he didn't need an antibiotic, but I was like, I don't need to swab for anything else because if it's viral, it's just, but considering how long he ran a fever for, like how many consecutive days and some of the other, I'm pretty sure. And we've gotten an email from the teacher that the flu is running rampant through their classrooms. So it tracks. But then on day 2 or 3 of him being sick with whatever that virus was, our 4-year-old fell down half of the flight of stairs and broke her collarbone. So it's been very eventful. Mm-hmm. And we just want nothing to happen for a little while.
Like a very chill holiday. No one gets sick. No one gets hurt.
Please.
That'd be amazing.
Please.
I do have to tell you the story about Liam's, you mentioned the strep test. They said they thought it was viral, but his throat was kind of red. So she's like, let's do a strep test just to see. I'm like, okay, that's, it's fine. Knowing my 5-year-old, it's not going to go over well. So the nurse comes in. She starts going for his throat. It goes south as I expected. So I have to hold him down, hold his mouth open so she can get the test, the whole entire thing. He's screaming at the top of his lungs, "You're trying to choke me. You're trying to kill me. You're the meanest mommy ever." Just all the way down the hall. All the nurses are laughing. I mean, he had to go to the restroom. So we're walking down the hall and he's screaming at me the whole way. "You tried to kill me." I'm like, oh my gosh, if someone hears this, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
If it's anything like that video of you trying to trim his nails,
same exact thing. The same exact thing.
It reminds me of when Kinley was little. I had to take her to the dentist for something and they give her laughing gas. And she's there and she's like, "Do you like beer? My daddy likes beer. My daddy gives me beer all the time. You should try beer." And I am like mortified. Like, first of all, this kid has never had a sip of beer. Okay. Second of all, her daddy doesn't really drink beer. He drinks bourbon. So cool. Right. And like just mortified trying to explain in this position, like, no, I don't get my child drunk on the weekends. Like, that's not a thing. And yeah, I was, oh my gosh.
Well, so when I took Collier in, because, when she first fell, she was pretty, I won't say hysterical, but, she was crying. It was real tears. And, you learn your own kids' cries and stuff, like whether it's just being a little dramatic or actually uncomfortable. And I could tell she was in pain, but not excruciating pain, if that makes sense. So it took a while to figure out, like, is this just, she's going to have a bruise or whatever. Finally, I was like, okay, I see a weird spot on her collarbone. I'm going to take her to the ER. Cause of course it happened on the weekend. Of
Yeah.
course
Yeah.
it's the weekend. It couldn't be during the day where you could take her to see her own pediatrician. So I take her to the ER. The number, which I appreciate this, I want to preface by saying I understand why this happens and I think it is necessary. But the number of times I had to repeat what happened, I was just like, because I know why you're doing this, which that's the part that makes me uncomfortable, is that I know why you're asking me this and it feels kind of accusatory. So, I mean, like, every time I would get asked, I would look at her and go, "Would you like to tell them what happened?" Because I'm like, I don't want you to think I'm putting on or, like, telling you a fabricated story, but, of course, she was shy and she wouldn't repeat it to anybody, but, they have to report, which I can I can
Which
definitely
is
appreciate
sad.
that. It's
Yeah.
very sad. It's very sad, and I was like, "Listen, she was just playing with her older brother, and they tried to slide down the stairs, which is dumb." And
Yeah.
But they're
still
kids, so
but they're
They
kids.
they were doing dumb stuff and they won dumb prizes. Like that's
Yep.
what happened, you know?
It was
Well,
5 minutes into trying to drink a cup of coffee. Like, we had just sat down in the living room, told them to go play. "Please go play upstairs. You'll have a lot of energy, and we need a little more time to wake up." Sit down in the living room. I probably had 3 sips of coffee,
yeah, well,
and it
you
was
were awake then.
wah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You were awake
Speak of the
then.
devil, and she shall appear.
There you go.
Yeah.
Um, we did not thankfully have that sort of excitement this week. We had a lot of exams this week. So a lot of
Ooh.
high school, first time kind of bigger exams than the ones that they've been having. So yesterday I took her to get Starbucks before school because she was really
Aw.
nervous. And then she ended up with an 88 in biology and an
That's
86 in French. So
wonderful.
yeah, so she did really good. So
that's awesome.
this morning I was not as nice and sent her to school and said, "Best of luck on your exams." But
You got this.
yeah, I was like, "You showed me yesterday you could do this. It'll be great." So yeah, no.
You can't do that every day. It's a one-time deal.
Have y'all seen where parents will do, like, a random mental health day with their child?
Mhm.
I love that. Have you seen that, Cassandra? So they'll just, like,
Mm.
at random, once or twice during the school year, when the kid gets up in the morning, just be like, "Hey, guess what? You're not going to school." Or I've seen where they'll go pick them up, like, half day or something.
Like early.
And be like, "I'm springing you out of here. We're going to Target and Starbucks and, la la," or whatever it is they like to do with their kid. And I was like, that is my kid is never gonna have perfect attendance because I
No.
don't care.
No.
I don't care. That is not
I'm
the thing I
not
care about.
sending you to school. I'm not dosing you with Tylenol and sending you to school with a fever.
No.
I'm not that parent. I'm not doing it. So you're
Yeah.
gonna
Well, but
stay
also
out.
today, what's like out there in the world versus when we grew up, like it's
Mhm.
very different stuff, right?
Yes.
From an illness perspective, a lot of that's got to do with, we created all the easy medicines. So now the
Mm.
only hard medicines are left, right?
Right.
So yeah, don't send them to school like that. But yeah, we do that sometimes, Caramie, where I'm just like, yeah, today is not a day you're gonna go, right? Or
Well,
if it's a
yeah.
day she's particularly having a hard time for whatever reason, like she's overwhelmed or, because especially as they get older, they do get where they've just got so much going on between
Mhm.
all the different activities that they just need a minute. And she comes back a different kid. It's really
Well,
exciting.
and we talked in last week's episode with Brittany about boundaries, and I made the comment you really have to model but the balancing and the boundaries and what you want your kids to feel empowered to do. And I think that's another example, right? Like, I hear my wife talk all the time, like she will work feeling terrible. And it stems from being raised by parents who were and I'm not faulting them because it's the generation primarily, and they were just repeating what they were taught. But it was very much like school is your commitment. Work is your commitment. Like, whatever it is, you do it. You have a responsibility. You don't let people down, blah, blah, blah. So to a fault. And that bleeds into when you become an adult yourself and you have a full-time job, and you're running yourself into the ground. I don't want my kids to grow up and not have healthy boundaries like that and take the time that they need. So I think kids deserve to have a break outside of having to be ill.
Well, and I think the other thing too is we've made so many blends
Mhm.
with work. And, when our parents were going to work, there was no work from home. It didn't exist, right? So when you were off, right? Like there were a lot clearer boundaries, right? Like my mom was a school teacher. She doesn't go to school. She's off. There was nothing she was doing from home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think too, normalizing that, right? And even if you do have a job that gives you the flexibility to work from home, really taking that time in the separation, like making sure you have that dedicated workspace so that you don't have to go in there when it's not time to do work. Like you can avoid that area of the house so that you're not tempted to go in. But I think, setting that sickness boundary and that boundary of like being sick isn't the only reason. I think the other thing is people forget to take vacations, right? Whether it's because you're financially constrained, whether it's because like you and your spouse can't align on what time can be taken, right? But I think the thing to think about with that, and even though we're talking about like moments like going to Starbucks or going to Target, it doesn't have to be anything like that. Go to a park, just go and hang out, enjoy nature, go on a hike. Like it can be simple as, hey, we're going to take the time and you're of a certain age. We're going to watch The Gilded Age together, right? And we're going to just veg out on the couch and watch movies. And that's what we're going to do all day, right? But those moments will be the things that they look back and remember. They're not going to look back and remember like, oh, you made me go to school every 32 days and I felt really good about that, right? That's just going to become habit.
Yep. Totally agree.
Speaking of work, we know some folks who are coming up on retirement, which I just think to myself, I have so much longer until I get to retire. I really don't even want to think about it.
But do you or don't you, right? Like that is really the question.
In the current economic climate, yes, I do.
Well, right. But maybe. Like I think, retirement looks different for everybody, right? I think the goal of retirement is that after you get of a certain age, right, as set by the government for all of us, which, whatever, is that you can enjoy the later years of life, right? But there's also this delicate balance of, are you healthy enough at that point, right? And unfortunately, that may not be the case, right? And so do you retire early, or do you start to set your life up in a way that gives you that luxury, right? So like a lot of people are buying houses later in life, and that's got to do with a lot of different economic factors, right? That means that 30-year mortgage instead of,
or what the now 50-year mortgage that people are talking about.
Right. I mean, so you're looking at a mortgage, right, into your 70s, 80s, depending on when you started that process, right? And having a mortgage is typically one of the things you don't have when you go into retirement, because that's, one less bill. But then, if you retire at 60 and they're saying now project to be 100, like, really? That's a whole different thing, right? Like, can you really, with today's 401k climates, because nobody has pensions anymore. When you had pensions, I feel like this is a very different story.
Pensions made it easy. You get the money till you're gone, and that's it. So,
right. But the volatility now of 401k, like if the market crashes tomorrow and you retired, you could be coming out of retirement because there's no money there anymore, right? And I think it's very interesting. There's a lot of financial planners that are like, oh, we'll help you. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't predict the markets to that degree, right? So I think it's very interesting.
We have already experienced that. I mean, even like all of us, how much money did we lose when the market crashed? I mean, I lost tons of money in my 401k that I'm still trying to recover.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like even if you get a better paying job later, you're still making up for all the money you lost. You're not going any further ahead, right? And you can only put so much in pre-tax, and then there's a lot of different rules around it. I don't know. I feel like 401k management is a full-time job, but then I've heard a lot of stories of people who've had financial planners and it hasn't gone well. And so then I'm like, I don't know that I want to hire somebody in that space to manage my 401k, only to then like they don't take any responsibility if they lose all your money. Like that's not a thing.
And it's costing you money. So
right.
I've heard some money people who at least seem to be, I mean, I've not really looked into their information, but they seem to be, on the wealthier side, talk about, 401k only really makes sense up to the amount that your employer is willing to match, because that is free money that you are foregoing if you don't participate. But outside of that, they say do not put any other part of your paycheck into your 401k. There are smarter ways to invest your money to grow faster than what it would do in a 401k. So,
but also the caveat of, and a lot of talent flips over these days because that's how you get the promotions. There's no such thing as working at a company for 25 years anymore, right?
Yep.
So you have to be willing to stay long enough to get the full match, because even though you may get the full match day one, right? Like it doesn't vest until you're 5, you're 6, or whatever this policy is. So then it's like, okay, well, if you don't see that type of future with a company, or you start to not see that type of future with a company, right? Then what? And, you've wasted some time there. I don't know. I don't think that there's a right answer. I just think there's a lot of,
well, and I think there's a lot of people who don't have the luxury of working for employers who even offer that. Like we're talking about how to manage that benefit in a smart way. And there is a large population of citizens who can't get a job that has that type of benefit.
Right.
Or, maybe they have a 401k there, but their employer barely matches anything, So what do folks like that do?
Right. Exactly. Well, and this leads us to our next topic of trying to find more guests that are out there. If there's a financial advisor or a financial planner or someone who wants to come on the show and talk to us and give us tips, and even if it's, totally different than what we just said, we don't care. I would love to hear from a financial advisor on what to do, because I feel like we're all at the age where it's like we've got, I mean, Caramie's younger than Rachel and I, but still, you've got to plan earlier than later. Like you've got to be thinking about retirement now. It's not something that when you wake up and you're 55, you can be like, oh, let me plan for retirement. Nope, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. So if anybody's out there that wants to come and talk to us, we would love to have you on.
Well, and one thing I've heard too, like, if you're planning on 40 years after, right? And you're going through this whole thing. It is one thing to think about too, like vehicles and house maintenance and all these things, right? So you buy a vehicle, right, when you go to retire, right? A brand new vehicle. You still got 40 years with that vehicle, and they don't make vehicles this day and age that with all the electronics and everything, they're going to last 40 years, right?
No.
So then you think about at some point in retirement, you're taking on another vehicle payment, right? Or, something major goes wrong with the house and you've now got to take this major, thing on with the house, and then heaven forbid with inflation, right? I just feel like one of the things I'm worried about is like as a society, we are in this sticky boat where people don't want to retire because you don't ever feel like you can afford to. And that is a very real thing, right? And then what happens is you then don't get the chance to, right? So you end up in this situation where you've become sick or something's happened, right? And instead of having this time that you're supposed to have, quote unquote, to like enjoy your life and all the things, right? It's gone before you know it. And you never really got that opportunity because all these other things came up that made it impossible to do. So I think we wanted to bring this topic up mainly because we want to know what you guys think. Like, we don't think that there's a magic answer here. It's a very personal decision for every single person. But if you've got tips that maybe your parents have done or how they've navigated, grandparents even, which that would be a fun one because it's different generations, right? Or just how you're thinking about it. I mean, I've heard of people who retire at the age 40 because they've just financially planned themselves, right, into this amazing spot, which is kudos to them for being able to do that, right?
Tell me how you did it.
Well, I think part of it too, right, is like, what life are you really wanting to lead in retirement, right?
I wanted to tell y'all my plan. I shouldn't say our plan because we go back and forth. sometimes we talk about we just really want to retire to the beach and just have a little like 2-bedroom place at the beach, a few blocks from the water or whatever. But there's also a big part of me that like when our kids are out of the house, I'd be totally fine liquidating a lot of stuff and having a motorhome.
Oh, I've
Or
thought
an
about
art.
that.
I mean, think about it. Even if you own your home at the point at which you retire, let's say you don't have a mortgage anymore, the upkeep and everything else is
Yeah.
still, the insurance and the property taxes. And then, like you said, you've had that home for how long? So you've got maintenance and things tearing up.
Mhm.
Like, why? If I'm already going to have the expense of my household every month, does it just make sense to turn that into like downsize into a motorhome and use whatever you would have been using on just like a place to park it? Then you can travel, assuming your health, like to your point that you've been able to do
Healthy.
that early enough and you haven't
Right.
had any illnesses come up. I think that'd be really cool. And then you get to see different parts of the country or whatever, which is kind of the point for
Yeah,
some
you wanna go
people.
stay in Colorado for 6 months, you can. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and
it's
that's
fine.
the thing, right? You've got to be physically able to
Yes.
do that,
Right.
right? That's the other trick of like, if you start to have mobility challenges, is that something that speeds up your retirement because you do want to do that, right? And so
Yeah.
you want to have those options.
And now that we're saying this, I feel like I have a very ableist lens through this, right? Like, not even
Right,
that you've had an illness come on, but
right,
there are people who are not as able-bodied their whole life. So,
right.
their lifestyle or the way they exist looks a lot different because it has to. They don't have the same luxuries
Right.
when it.
Or you start to get arthritis or any of the things. Like it doesn't even have to be something major, right?
Right.
It's just I think when a lot of people think about retirement, they think about exactly what you just pictured, right?
Right.
Like, oh, we're gonna go travel, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, right? And then reality hits and it's like, okay, wait, I am 60 something years old. And when I, turned 40, I had to stretch to get out of bed. Now when I'm 60, right? Like if I breathe wrong, I throw out my hip, right? Like there's a lot of things that change and shift. And so you never know what your life's going to hold. You never know how much time's on the clock, right?
Yep.
It could be 20 million minutes, it could be 2 seconds, right? And it's all about figuring out what do you want to do that's going to make the most of whatever time you have. And there's no right answer. I think that's the situation that I've been living in a lot lately. There's been a lot of things going on and just constantly reminding myself of no matter what the decision is, there's no right answer when it comes to how you live your life and what you do and when you do it. And so, yeah, reach out to us about retirement. This will be a fun one. Hopefully we get some good comments.
Yeah. Well, and before we pivot, I just want to say I think investing in your future like that, I think it has to be more than the money part. I think you need to invest in your body.
Yes, and your health.
I think what money makes the world go round, so of course that's going to be the emphasis. But to your point, if you are not taking care of yourself to the best of your ability now, I think we have to think of it like an investment in our bodies to make it to retirement and to be able to continue enjoying life past a certain point.
Yeah.
And it's speaking for myself, it's very easy to kick the can down the road. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it
I'm
is.
only 35. Oh, and, you turn around, oh, I'm only 38. It's fine. I can burn the candle at both ends. I'm still young, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? You blink or you wake up one day and suddenly you're 55.
Yeah.
exactly. Well,
Well,
and some people can't take care of themselves. Like if you have issues, right? Like there are people that
Mhm.
have things that you can't physically improve those, right?
Right.
You're gonna have issues. But if you can, and
Yep.
everything you can do to take care of yourself, I mean, I'm back to being a diabetic. I was one, then I wasn't for a while, and now I'm back. So like I really watch what I eat and try to take care of myself because I don't want to end up like my great grandmother who had to have both of her legs amputated, like
Right.
yeah.
it's like all about, even if you have something like that that's going on in your body, taking care of yourself to the best of your ability. That's the key, and making sure
And
that you've got support.
And don't just look at the physical aspects,
Right.
right? Understand, a job is a job and if it stresses you out too much, walk away,
Yep.
right? Like there will be another job. There will be something else that you can do. Your mental health right? And the environment you come home and create with your family day in and day out. One of the things, this artist that I really like is coming out with another song, and her song is Would You Come Home to You? And I started thinking about that. Right. I started thinking about that, right? Like, would I want to come home to me? Right? Like, and the stress that you let spill over, right? Like when your kid walks through the door, you've had a long day at work. Are you matching their energy just because you've been so pissed at work and things did not go your way, and so you're having this, like, really negative thing when they don't deserve that? Just like you would tell them, "Hey, I don't get that attitude from school," right? Like, I don't you don't get to take your stressful day out on me, right? And so as you're thinking about your health, thinking it through that lens of, like, one of the things of, like, when you talk mentally and you talk about your interactions with even just your family, would you want to come home to you?
That's deep.
Good question.
Hits a little
By the
differently.
way, Emily Ann Roberts, love her.
I know, I'm so
Big
excited
heart.
about this song.
She's
It
like
releases
this
tonight.
generation. Yes, and she's like this generation's Dolly Parton. I feel it down in my
Mhm.
soul. Like she's precious.
She is a
I don't
Yeehaw
think I've heard
mama.
her. I don't think I've
Emily Ann
heard her.
Roberts.
Oh my gosh, we
She
will
calls
introduce
herself the
you.
Yeehaw Mama because she likes all the
Me
canning and gardening and like
It's
yes.
Meemaw.
Meemaw, yeah. Meemaw.
Meemaw, yeah.
I love it.
And
I'll
she
have to look her up after
crochets. She
this.
has crocheting parties before some of her, sets.
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
you can
wow.
crochet with her.
Crochet outfits. I mean, she's really good at the grandmotherly type, like those Meemaw things that she likes.
Yeah.
She walks the walk. She doesn't just talk the talk. There you
yeah,
go.
no. And her husband have, an Instagram channel, Sasser House,
Yeah.
that's really cute that
Yeah.
you can watch them on. But yeah, so just food for thought on a Tuesday as you are home with your kids and worried about all the things because it is Thanksgiving week. So we will wrap this episode with some tips and tricks on how to keep them busy while you're at Thanksgiving week. So if you don't know, Zootopia 2 is launching on Wednesday. So if your kids are of age for movies, one thing to do is think about how do you watch Zootopia 1 in preparation to go see Zootopia 2 and maybe do it as a surprise trip. So again, those mental health moments, right? Maybe our kids weren't thinking that they were going to go get to do anything. And so going to the movies is something that you can do. Again, make sure that you go in standard hours. I think it's non-matinee hours or it's matinee hours. I don't know. The cheaper of the two, right? So like during the day, there you go.
Well, and if you have a whole herd and it's not cost
Right.
effective, I think it's coming out where you can rent it through Amazon too. If I heard correctly. Some movies will do that, when they drop
Yeah.
in theaters, you can pay the $20 or whatever it is to rent
Yeah.
it. Which for some people that's more cost effective depending on the number of people in your family. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do that. Maybe I sneak out a little early one afternoon next week. I didn't take any extra vacation time off because Thanksgiving's not really my jam. So
Well, you have a half day on Wednesday. There you go.
Oh yeah. And now that I don't have to cook anything.
Right. See?
Look at this. Your grandmother has saved your Thanksgiving, has given you this time to go see Zootopia. We expect a full report out on how this movie is.
I will have to take Liam to see Zootopia. He loves the first one. We've been getting all of the Zootopia toys in our Happy Meals in the last couple of weeks. So,
Well, Collier's birthday party. Collier's birthday party is on Saturday. So she's turning 4. So she'll love that. We'll be like, guess what we're doing for your birthday? Going to see a movie.
Yay! Besides going to see movies,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't have any.
One thing we do is Christmas decorations, right? So
yeah.
gingerbread kits right now at Walmart are $10. You can get a gingerbread kit, or if you don't want to get a gingerbread kit, so growing up in Southern Louisiana, we used to go buy one thing of a milk carton, an actual milk carton, right, of milk. And then you can take the graham crackers and a tub of icing, right? And you can put the graham crackers on the milk carton and make it into a makeshift gingerbread house, and then just use leftover Halloween candy or whatever you have around the house. It's a fun little project. It doesn't have to necessarily be Christmas.
Oh, like
themed,
a little
right?
milk carton, like a little
You
individual.
can get a little one or you can get the big one, right? Either one. And then you just put the graham crackers on it. You just use the icing and your kid will end up covered in icing. That's kind of the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
and let them go to town on that. It'll keep them busy for a couple of hours, and then, bath time will be shortly
not
thereafter.
everybody shops at Michael's, but Michael's craft store has a ton of do-it-yourself Christmas things. Like, I got a whole big, I guess you call it, box of wooden ornaments for really cheap that, your kids can paint. Like, our kids both have little Christmas trees in their rooms. So I bought those wooden ornaments to let them paint them and put glitter on them and whatever they want to do. And then that's the ornaments for their tree. They won't break if they fall off or they're fooling with them. So
they also have them at Dollar General or at Hobby Lobby, the wooden ornaments. So other alternative locations. And I think Walmart, I mean, they have their gingerbread houses out, but I just saw them putting like their big aisles out of like Christmas decor and stuff. So I'm pretty sure they'd have something in that arena too. If you're looking for budget friendly options, right?
I also bought Liam, and I picked it up on a whim when I was at the grocery store because I saw a display, but they're those Imagine ink coloring books that have like the marker that comes with it. So you color and it changes. It's like a clear marker, right? So if you write
like
all
water.
over the couch it's like kind of like water. I just bought it because it was Grinch and he likes the Grinch and I thought he would enjoy it. And I gave it to him while he was sick. He has sat and colored on that thing until there are no more pages left in it. And I thought, I didn't realize how much you were going to really enjoy this little thing. It was interesting to him to see what colors popped up when he colored, So
Yeah.
you got younger kids. Those are great.
Also remember too, you can print coloring sheets on your printer. Right. So there are a lot of websites that'll give you free coloring sheets that you can download and print, or word searches if you're trying to get them to, do things a little bit differently. All of those are activities. But if you have a kid that will not sit, which there are a lot of kids that will not sit and do activities, or they'll do them for like 2 seconds and then they're done. Other things are look up reindeer games for kids. So they're like little games that you can come up with. So like take all the tissues out of the tissue box, put ping pong balls inside of it or whatever kind of balls you have, right? Have the kid hold it behind their back and they have to jump up and down until all the balls fall out. And it's like a race. So you do it with like a friend, right? To see who can do it first. So again, different ideas, get some energy out and get you on your way to a great holiday.
And things you can do with a family too. I don't know where you are in the world, but there are a lot of Christmas tree lightings going on right now, especially like on Thanksgiving, there are Christmas lights that you can go see displays. I find Facebook to be a fabulous place to go search for those because usually someone in my town has posted a list of here are all the places and when you can go see those lights. So it's another thing you can do as a family. We like to look at Christmas lights. Big fans.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, we hope you got some great ideas, but it's unfortunately that time of the day where we have to say goodbye. Caramie, take us home.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Coffee Meets Cloud. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please follow, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen. It truly helps grow the show. You can connect with us on all socials at Coffee Meets Cloud and find more resources, episodes, and updates on our website at coffeemeetscloud.com. We appreciate you being here. We love sharing the space with you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.